Good morning, City of Chester committee meeting for the Public Safety Committee. We'll do a roll call real quick. We got myself and Councilman Davis on the phone, Council Lady West by my side. Let's get a motion to approve the minutes from January 21st, 2025. Can we get a second, Councilman?
Yes, so moved.
All right, let's all vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Minutes are approved. What's PS4? Is that public comment? PS4? Well, we're going to have public comment.
Safety.
Public
This is
safety.
the fourth meeting.
Oh, gotcha. All right. There are no one here present from the public. Today, we're going to have a presentation from our police commissioner, who will be discussing parking enforcement. I just want to kind of maybe clarify the statement. It says the Public Safety Committee will discuss the need for standardized parking enforcement in non-premium parking areas. Do we mean premium parking meaning the company?
Yes,
Premium parking?
yes,
Okay, so
there-
we would want
there are zones.
two capital Ps there, and their assigned areas of responsibility. So I'll redraft this and we'll just, for the record, we'll just make that a little clearer. So just to kind of speed things up a little bit, we know we have Premium Parking as our parking management company. They are almost exclusively assigned to the residential parking areas and the enforcement of parking in those neighborhoods. But we still have the issue around the city of parking enforcement, of which the police department and our commissioner is going to share with us what her ideas are for managing parking throughout the rest of the city. And it's really an informational session for us to ask questions and, if need be, ultimately get it on council for approval, but that may not even need to happen. So just look at this as an informational session, listen carefully, ask all the questions that you can ask so we can roll this out very quickly and very seamlessly. In all candor, she and I talked yesterday, so some of the questions that you guys will likely ask might already be at the tip of her tongue. So let's get started.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Mr. Mayor, City Council, everybody under the sound of my voice. What I'm proposing this morning is really not anything new. It's something that, as a police department, we stepped away from because of the different parking authorities and then premier parking coming into the city. However, it appears as if not addressing some of these things with parking throughout the city, it's now become an issue for everybody. Since the formation of the parking authority and then later premier parking, the Chester Police Department ceased regular use of paper tickets, instead utilized citations when necessary. The drawback of a citation is a state citation, and we really don't see the benefit as far as the violation. We receive 13% of the fine, not even the total ticket, just whatever the fine that's set. That's what the city of Chester will receive, 13% of that. And in addressing a lot of these issues with parking, citizens, they don't see police officers getting out of their vehicles, placing this paper ticket on the car, which gives them the idea that we are allowing these parking violations, and nothing could be further from the truth. They are writing the citations, but it's not anything that the community can see that we are actually addressing. So for me, I just feel like us ignoring or not, utilizing or re-implementing the paper tickets, we have given the community the idea that you can do whatever you want. You can park on curbs, you can park the wrong direction in traffic, all of these things. And if just re-implementing paper tickets is the answer, I'm all for it. It's easier for the officer to do. We'll reap the benefit of the violation, and the community will actually see that we are addressing these things. Parking, to me, falls right in the area of quality of life issues. So it's very important for us to, I don't care how small the quality of life issue, if it's a parking ticket, it's a parking ticket. But we are prepared and ready to move forward with re-implementing these parking tickets. Now, the only drawback is, years ago when we used the parking tickets, we had a civilian employee that handled all the paperwork and, tracking. So instead of doing that, we would either use interns or either our officers that we have on light duty. It wouldn't be of any extra work to the courts, so to speak. It would be everything handled by us. If the ticket is paid, that's fine, but if it's not paid, then the officer would reissue the ticket to a summons in our InfoShare report writing system, and it would be written under a city ordinance, and again, it's something that we receive the benefit of the violation. Now, as far as a rollout date, we're looking for possibly the first week in June. But more importantly, we just wanted to make sure that everybody knows we don't want to sneak up on people and just start doing this stuff. We don't want to sneak up on people and they think that, we're trying to get the bankruptcy paid off with parking tickets. This is a way to let the community know that this isn't something new. This is something we're getting back to. Any questions?
I just want to make a statement. In other areas, I live right at the edge of Chester, and then I go a few blocks over and I'm in Parkside, and if you don't stop at every stop sign, and, if you're speeding through, and we, the citizens of Chester, we adhere to other areas and their requirements. But in Chester, you come back to Chester, everybody's running through a stop sign. They're not acknowledging or the speed limits that we have set up, even with the ones that are painted into the streets, So I agree that we need to get back on track with the paper tickets. We have, and you and I have spoken, Commissioner, about the 3rd and Yarnell, 3rd and Jeffrey area, where we have homeowners there, and they can't even get into their driveways because people across the street are parking their cars in front of their driveways, or parking in their driveways.
In their driveways, yes, ma'am.
So, I'm glad to see. And then I see here that there's an estimated, is there an estimated rollout?
You know what, Carol, I'm going to let you
Time.
speak to this since you were in charge of ordering the tickets and setting this part up. Sergeant Batnier.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The estimated rollout that we're looking at would be the June 1st date. A lot of that is going to be contingent on what we put on the physical citation itself within the book, as well as the cost aspect and whatever's backed up with Traffic Terra. They're the vendor that we'd like to be dealing with for designing the parking tickets and printing them out. They deal with a lot of municipalities within Delaware County as well. June 1st is the estimate. When I spoke with the lady at Traffic Terra, she believes she can make that, as long as we don't get overly complicated with what we put on the books themselves or design or anything like that. We should be able to make that date.
By book, you mean the ticket book?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
It looks just something like this.
And I know there are different types of violations.
Yes, ma'am. So what I decided, what we think is best for us, we want to touch on the violations that we see throughout this city on a continual basis. And a lot of those violations are in the city's code 511. I'm sorry, yeah, 511. And that's for standing, parking, parking within the 15 feet of the fire hydrant, crosswalk, intersection, too close to corner, driveway, blocking street, parking on sidewalk, overnight commercial vehicles prohibited, standing prohibited, parking improperly, parking on private property without permission, space reserved for disabled, those are the ones that we actually see a lot of, and this would answer a lot of those complaints.
And we all get a lot of complaints just on those things that you mentioned. And I'm very glad to hear that we're going to address those issues, especially the commercial vehicles.
I also have something for that when we get a minute.
Okay, and then how do you determine the costs for whatever? There are different costs per the violation, correct?
Yes, now those were, the costs on each violation were established when the city ordinance were redone, maybe like 5 years ago, 21. And they range from anywhere from $25 to $75, with that being the fire hydrant, which is usually the most severe of the tickets written.
And those are still, I mean, do you look at other municipalities and what they're charging, or is there a requirement, as per the ordinance?
Yes, per the ordinance.
Okay, I'm sorry. So whatever the ordinance says,
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
how we charge accordingly. That's all I have for right now.
Okay.
Councilman, any questions?
No questions at the moment. I think Councilman West made some good statements and questions. I'm really happy to hear that we are addressing some of these recreational vehicles, 18-wheelers, tractor trailers, parked in residential areas, especially in front of residential homes. Actually, I want to call Commissioner Blackwell after this meeting because I have 2 of those incidents right now that need to be dealt with happening in the city of Chester. But no questions at the moment other than that.
All right, let's go through the kind of a scenario here. We see a car parked on the sidewalk. Patrolman will put a ticket
Yes.
on the window. He will bring, I guess, the book back, will hold the portion of the ticket that is going to be processed inside.
Yes.
All right, so by whom is going to process the tickets inside?
The processing of the tickets will be done by either interns or officers that we currently have doing light duty. So that way, the tickets are kept in one stationary place. We're not moving them all around. If the ticket is paid, that's fine. If the ticket is not paid, then the ticket is returned to the officer. Then he would go into InfoShare, our report writing system, and e-file the city ordinance violation and send. Go ahead.
Hold on. You're really getting ahead of me.
Go ahead.
So let's take the ticket is getting paid. So how does a person pay a ticket?
Oh, there'll be instructions on the back that now we want to do something really simple and easy. That's just, you send a money order to the Chester Police Department. And we're also considering a QR code. So maybe somebody who they want to hurry up and get it paid right then and there. But that also will mean money. So that's a conversation that we're going to have with Mr. Troutman about if the cost of, utilizing a QR code as well as the freeway, just having them send it back to the police station via money order.
Can they walk it in?
They sure can, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4.
Okay. We're not taking cash or checks.
No cash and checks.
All right. How many days?
I have a quick question.
Hold on one sec. How many days do you have
15.
to?
It's 15, right? Yes, 15.
All right, so if you didn't hear that, Councilman, you got 15 days to pay your citation before you get a late fee or? A state citation. So does that mean it goes right to district court?
Goes to district court under the city ordinance.
Okay.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
And then we're going to let the judges know that they will likely see an uptick in
Yes.
parking tickets and the like, so they're prepared.
And tickets never get referred out to media, do they?
No.
Thank you.
If someone wants to challenge a ticket, what is there a process in place for that?
if they want to challenge the ticket. Now, what I also wanted to say before I answer that, then they could request a court date.
I'm sorry?
They can request a court date, but I also want people to understand that while we're writing these parking tickets, officers will be using their body-worn cameras. So don't waste your money, don't waste your $50 trying to get a court date for a $20 ticket or a $25 ticket, because all of that will be part of the evidence.
What was I going to say? Oh, challenge. So if somebody wants to challenge a ticket in the first 15 days, is there a process in place for
They
that?
they can request a court date, but I think,
So that the only place you can challenge is in court? They're
Yes.
not going to come to the station and,
no, it's no reason for them to come and argue with the police.
well, they might think there's a reason. I'm just
Yeah,
trying to find what a
But
process is.
But once the ticket is written, and again, it's body camera footage, and then if you come before us, you may say, well, you're not going to side with me. Of course, it's one of your officers or whatever the case. That's not a winning battle right there. If it's body-worn camera footage. And again, these parking tickets, these are not to harm anybody or to be, we are answering a call that we've been hearing for so long. That's it.
No, we get that. To eliminate, reduce people wanting to challenge a ticket as soon as they get one, maybe there needs to be some language on the ticket that says, you cannot come into the station and challenge, this is final. I mean, I don't know how to word that, but you don't.
We'll
You're
take
going to
care of it.
have people come to the station to challenge, and if there's no facility, no way they can challenge, they need to know, so
Yeah.
they're not showing up. And
Yeah.
save you time, save people at the station time, save a lot of angst. Like, if you want to argue this ticket, it gets argued at the district court level. Go ahead and set your date, and get on the docket. That's pretty much what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that needs to be clear as we communicate this program out.
Well, would that not be communicated when we do our communications piece with our communications person?
Well, it is, but
I mean, I'm just.
not everyone's going to see that, and when the person gets a ticket, if they think, they're going to run right over to the police station.
And my other question is, will we have some type of community forum outreach or meeting to also inform people about the change?
Well, I know for us, we were going to put something on our social media platform just to advise people of what we're doing. Again, this is not really anything new. So we're just advising people that the change is coming and the paper tickets are returning. So if that means you need to start, breaking these bad old habits of parking on the curb or parking the wrong direction or parking too close to the curb, now's the time to do so.
So we talked about rolling this out in a kind of controlled fashion, not every officer doing every parts of the city. Have we given any more thought to that? How we would start, where we would start, just to get the things flowing?
For me, I would say that we would address an area that between the officers, we can come to an agreement with what sector really has the most parking ticket issues, the parking, how many calls we get in that area for parking violations, and we'll go from there. Again, we really don't, even though we still have a large portion of the city to cover with Premier Parking, doing some for their zones. I don't think that we're going to be like the Gestapo going out there and I think now we just have an additional tool to address something that we've been addressing, but it's just been in citation form.
So if someone has a parking issue they want to bring to the police attention, how does that work?
They can just call 911.
911?
Call them the parking violation.
Very well. Any other questions?
Officer Jones, is he still
Abandoned
This
vehicles.
is abandoned vehicles.
Yes, ma'am.
There's another topic.
There was, after our conversation yesterday, I had started thinking again about the commercial vehicles, the commercial vehicle parking and storage issue that we have here in the city. And we spoke about signage. And we talked about how expensive it could be if we wanted to do signage everywhere. And I agree with that. I agree that signage is still needed, probably as you enter off our main roads maybe, that trucks travel in and out. We may have signage put there, but even right down to the social media piece, we just have to get the word out that it's no longer being tolerated. So when officers do go to respond, or when tow trucks do come to tow these trailers and trucks, you know, officers aren't put in a position to have to argue or explain. So I was just thinking, yeah, the public awareness initiative, again, as we're going to do with the tickets, we do the same for them. Now, oddly enough, a lot of them are not from here, but that's not our problem. As long as the community knows that they can call us when they see these trucks or these trailers being dumped or people parking to go to sleep after they've been on the road, we definitely have to, and the Chester Police is prepared to address it.
That includes those abandoned trucks up on property, as long as it's not. Well, what about private property?
That would fall under L&I.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
We also talked about, I don't care how well we try to communicate, there's going to be people who will not see it, and then people who will claim they didn't see it. For those tractors and trailers, we talked about some type of, like
Sticker.
abandoned sticker, but a sticker just for them. So when they do come back to their tractor, trailer, or whatever, they would be notified with some brightly colored sticker that says, can't do this. So we're going to get something like that?
We can.
Okay.
We can.
I've seen some abandoned stickers around town over the last couple days. I think they appear to be right out in public parking areas. So are those stickers you guys are putting
Are they
on?
orange?
Yes.
Yeah, ours are orange.
Okay. L&I has a different color?
They were proposing to have a different color so the person could know exactly why the vehicle was towed or who they need to contact.
Well, this would be a vehicle that's
Well, I'm sorry,
sitting
before it
there
was,
waiting
yeah,
to
well,
be
before it
towed.
was tagged.
Before it was
Like, they
tagged.
wouldn't think to call me if it's a tag or it's a vehicle tag because of something L&I did. So their idea was to use a different color tag other than the orange one that we use.
So the one that we use, I haven't got out the car to read them, but basically what do they say?
They basically tell you that your vehicle's been, they put your information on the VIN, the date, the time, and I want to say why the vehicle was tagged abandoned.
And then it gives days or a time period before it gets towed, or?
Is that on there, Kyle? Because I know once the certified letter is sent out, then you have a certain amount of time to get your vehicle right before it's towed.
All right, so is there anything else? Any other topic you're planning to present?
No, those are the two heavy hitters for us this week.
So again, this, session was to introduce just real overt actions that will be taking place from the police department perspective with regard to parking around the city in areas that are not under the jurisdiction of premium parking. They're specifically doing those targeted neighborhood residential areas, Sun Hill and through Widener, Nova Vista.
That's it.
No, there's one other Nova Vista,
Washington
Widener.
Park.
Yeah, I call that the Widener area.
Oh, well, that's it then.
Well, around Crozier Hospital. That might be a moot point pretty soon, too. And I think they were doing some stadium area stuff. So obviously that leaves a whole lot of the city left. So got a big job there. But, you know, we got officers out there every day. We are, I guess we're taking requests that would come in through 911 calls, preferably, just to identify, you know, parking violations that we can go after. But we're really counting on, you know, the officers out there on their daily, you know, beats to be looking out for cars that are, I guess we had a good time talking yesterday. Is it the same fee for one tire on the curb, two tires on the curb?
Same
or
fee.
all four
Same,
on the sidewalk?
same fee.
That's the thing I really want to address, is getting these cars off the sidewalks. It drives me berserk. I mean, some of them just take up the whole sidewalk. See these poor ladies trying to walk by with their strollers, or, you know, people just trying to navigate, walking back and forth. The sidewalks are in bad enough shape, and a lot of it is due to the weight of these vehicles that are just crushing the old blocks. Be glad we can fix sidewalks too, and put up really high curbs to kind of prohibit some of this sidewalk parking. Can you guys think of any other parking that you really want to
Well, I just
have the
want to
police
say
focus on?
that sidewalk parking is, when your sidewalks are ruined because people are parking on them, from the curb to the door is homeowner responsibility. So that's a significant cost to our residents, you know, homeowners, you know. So I'm glad to see that we're really, you know, looking at that, you know, because it's a major issue. You said on here, there's going to be the announcement date, and then it's a plan to inform the public, and you're doing that by way of social media.
Yes, what the Chester Police is planning to do is actually post the city ordinance and just give them an idea that we are launching these paper tickets back into flow, and our launch date is June 1st, or the week of June 1st. We're going to let them know what the tickets are going to look like, and just make them prepared and aware that this is what we're doing to address this ongoing issue.
You know I'm happy.
I know you are. I know you are.
So we're thrilled to have a communications director now who will help us craft an overall city communication blitz on this one. Did a really good job with the L&I actions and picking up cars off of private lots. So if anybody says they missed that, you know, that announcement or those news clips, they're just living under a rock.
Mr. Mayor, before we end, would you like to still know what's on the notice for the abandoned vehicle sticker?
Yeah, you might as well share it since you got it.
Okay. It reads, notice, Chester Police Department Abandoned Vehicle Division. This motor vehicle has been classified as an abandoned vehicle as defined in Section 102 PMVC. If the vehicle is not moved from city property within 7 days of below time, it will be towed at owner's expense. The vehicle may only be reclaimed on payment of costs in accordance with Section 7306 PMVC. And it has the day, the date, time, color of vehicle, license number, year, license year, model, make, license, state, expired inspection if it's yes or no or none. Then there's the, then you tear part of it off, that's for our record, and the other portion, of course, stays on the vehicle.
All right. So all that does is tell you to move your car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Should it say anything else? There's no contact information on there, though, but
Was-
what is there
No,
to
just-
contact you for? I
Yeah,
guess is
you
the
already
point.
know what you gotta do. You're looking at it like we're looking at it.
Okay. If they remove the sticker from the car and the car's still there, then what happens?
Well, we keep a track of it, so they can remove the sticker.
But I'm saying it, on the 7th day? I feel
Yeah,
like
the
I'm
vehicle is
talking
tracked.
Easter talk.
Yeah, the vehicle is tracked, not so much the sticker. So if an
Right.
officer goes back to that location and that vehicle still fits that criteria or something, because by all means, they may have got it fixed. They may have got it registered and all that other stuff. So they can take the sticker off. But if we come back in 7 days and you run that same registration and if it still fit the criteria, it goes.
Yeah, I guess that's what should happen. I'm just
Mhm.
curious, do we have like a tickler file to go out in 7 days?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I would love to say 7 days, but it may be longer. But there is a running file of the vehicle that's been that's been tagged, a file that the vehicles where the certified letters have been sent out. So we're tracking it. We would love to say 7 days was the magic number, but sometimes it's not.
That has a lot to do with staffing, too.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with, I mean, you're talking about staffing, and if the abandoned vehicle officer comes in, let's just say he gets a call and he's going out, he can't really do two things at once because at the end of the day, it's his sole responsibility. So sometimes it may go longer than 7 days.
Yeah, it's more a
I have
question of,
question just for clarification, and this might have already been covered, but does this apply to our alleyways and, I guess like our very like miscellaneous side blocks as well?
I can't hear him.
he's asking if the back alleys also apply.
For abandoned vehicles?
For abandoned vehicles, Councilman?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And some of our little alleyways are streets.
Streets, mm-hmm.
You know, and well, I know that's an L&I issue if you have people conducting or running garages out of somebody's little house garage, you know, like off of Ward Street.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's an L&I issue. But we do have some cars that are parked on the main street, you know, where these people who are operating the garages, they have the cars parked on like a main street. So that comes under your,
It does, I want to say it does, and an L&I presence wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt, because
so
we
that's
can.
where the coordination
Yes,
between the two of you.
yes, we can, because again, it's one thing for us to go out there and we start tagging them, or again, we're only putting a tag on the car or giving them citations. They can still move and come back the next day. But as a business owner, if you are in violation of certain things, as the business owner, I think the violations would be greater than any ticket that I could give you.
Right,
And that would be L&I.
Right.
What you're saying, right? So the only tricky part about that is, you know, if it is a lineup of cars that, you know, we all know by looking at them, they're waiting to be repaired by that repair shop, but the car has a valid sticker or a valid license, we can't expect that they'll be tagged by police because they're literally legal vehicles in this scenario parked in a legal parking spot.
but then some of them are propped up on those lifts too. You know,
And
there's
that's
no
where-
shame to their game. They put them right on lifts, and you know they're waiting to be prepared. And you cannot conduct a business from
From
a
the s-
city street.
Correct. Those are the ones
Yeah.
that we expect you to go after.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll get the message. So I think we're, you know, this is all quality life related issues. As we're learning, it's multi-jurisdictional, it's police, it's L&I, it's streets department, it's legal, it's communications, it's residents. We have just too many cars in this town that, I mean, this has just become a dumping ground for junk cars, and that's what we're trying to address. But, so a lot of action is going on there. I'll just prepare everybody that our next target for attack is game day down at the soccer stadium when there's a lot of parking being done on lots that are privately owned. And the strategy there is to have the availability of parking permits on these private lots. So we know for sure that I wouldn't say bad characters, but characters are coming in town and just commandeering open lots, having people out there in orange vests and wands, like waving them in. They're not Chester residents. They don't work for anybody other than the gangster who brings them down here and takes over these lots. So that's our next area of focus. I guess that's enough to be said on that, unless you want to add something.
No, something else is long overdue.
Yep.
I do have another question. Say like if, you know, some people, they don't care about spending $50 in court costs to take care of or to dispute a $25 ticket. Now, when it comes before the district court, and let's say they lose in district court, do they also have an opportunity to appeal at the county level?
That would not be up to us. That would be up to the court.
I know, to the court, but sometimes, well, even if they lose, they can still, they
Yes.
still have the right to appeal, and at the county level, you know. And I know of some L&I issues where it goes there, and sometimes the fines are reduced for whatever, or dismissed. So we're trying to stop a bad behavior here in Chester. So should there be some type of communication with us and others to let them know this is our problem here in Chester, and we really need to clean things up, because we're getting a lot of complaints from our residents here who are being, bothered by this bad behavior, and to have someone appeal, which is their right, and they go out there and then it's dismissed, maybe. I'm not saying that it's always the case, but in some cases, I do know of where things have been dismissed. Should there be some type of communication with us and others to let, to everybody get on the same page?
Yeah, I don't think a collaborative effort would hurt. I don't think a collaborative effort would hurt. But we all know that we're going to have people who are going to fight against this, just because we haven't done it in so long, or
Right.
Chester, the police could be doing something else. Go solve a murder. We're going to get all those things, but we're going to start with parking tickets today. That's what we're dealing with,
Right.
parking.
I don't have anything else. How about you?
Me either.
Okay.
I'm worn out.
You're worn out. But again, when we talk about communications, feel free to talk to our communications
Of
person about
course.
anything that
Of course.
we feel needs to be communicated to the public. Councilman, anything else?
No, I don't have anything else, Mr. Mayor.
Right, great.
Councilwoman.
I want to thank the commissioner for coming in and sharing that information with us. It's a work in progress, but it's a work that needs to get started. And I'm excited to see us finally cracking down on, again, quality life type stuff. We're going to get some feedback. We're going to get some pushback. You're going to get calls. He's going to get calls. You're going to get calls. I'm going to get calls. It's going to be an adjustment for the community, but it's much needed.
Yes, Councilman Green, if he has anything he'd like.
Yeah, we can make public comment. Councilman Green, you're the public today. All right, get to the mic, and I just want you to know I got a hard stop at 11, so you got 3
Okay.
minutes. Boom.
3 minutes, okay. So I just wanted some clarity. You mentioned that I'm not sure if it's premium parking or the tickets that you're proposing. We get 13%. I wanted to know who gets the other 87% of that ticket. And also,
Let's do one at a time.
okay.
Those are the state citations that officers currently have to write to address those tickets. So they get the rest. We get 13% of the fine because it's not written as a city ordinance. If we're writing or addressing it through our own city or as a city ordinance or a Chester parking ticket, we get that. But when you're writing a state citation, we only get a percentage of the fine, not even the total cost.
Okay, so let me, very good, I got it. Currently, if tickets are being written, unfortunately, they're not physical. They're citations that, you know, fall under state jurisdiction. If there's a fine or a fee assessed, the city is getting only 13%. Now that we're writing our own tickets, we've cut that system out. We're going to get 100% of the fee.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
And my last question, I know you guys are doing the writing the tickets. I know a lot of municipalities or cities, they use handheld devices that will print out a ticket. Have we looked at that, and would that be an easier process, or is it much easier to do the handwritten tickets?
So let me start with that one, but please, I want to hear your response too. All we have to do is look at the premium parking proposal, and they literally price out how much those, I guess it would be a license plate reader or a handheld device would cost. That's the only issue with going with that system would be the cost. So it's much cheaper to roll this thing out with paper tickets, but ultimately, yeah, we could track everything, we could store data, we could do a whole lot more electronically. So that's the direction we'd love to go. But physical tickets also leave a presence on that windshield. It's a better way to introduce it, the bright color, you know, people ride by, oh, damn, he got a ticket. You know, that type of effect is kind of the shock and awe we want to get right now. But ultimately, you know, having a handheld device, electronic, would be perfect. But then we're also, in this case, putting tickets in every patrolman's hand. And if you multiply that by the number of devices you'd have to get, you know, it just becomes an expense item. But it's, as long as they're writing the tickets, as long as we're getting reports on a, you know, pretty regular basis as to how many tickets have we written, how many people have paid their fines, how many people have challenged them, all the way up to court. You know, how many court cases have we gone to, or have they challenged, how many have we won? I mean, it's pretty simple to gather that data if we start off with the intent of gathering that data. Can't be playing catch up. But yeah, we would love to have those tools. So what would be your response to that?
Again, Councilman, it is about the cost. We had those some years back, and between the repair and buying the paper and different things, theoretically, we would love to would catch up to time and have the handheld. But right now, just for a matter of actually getting this work done or getting it started, paper is the easier option and it's cheaper.
And then you have to train,
Yeah, you have to train.
you know, it's easier to, you know, someone to show you how to do a paper ticket than to be trained on the handheld.
You know, ultimately, well, not ultimately, but while we're doing this, it's important to track how much, you know, revenue is coming in, because if people are going to continue to violate and money keeps coming in from these fees, then, you know, you have the source of money to pay for, you know, maybe even just a few devices. Maybe you just have the captain assign it to a single person if you got a single person working in the area. So, but paper is something we can get started right away, 1st of June, and that's what we're going to do. So, yay. Let me see those.
These are the
Kinda cool.
old ones.
Those are the old ones?
Yeah, but this is just an idea.
Any other questions, Councilman?
That was it.
All right, good, thank you. Very good. Parking too close to intersection, meter violation. All right. Now, if there is something I'd like to modernize even quicker than the handheld is form of payment. this money order thing is just really old-fashioned. So I think we could pretty easily, what do you think, Tracy? Do you think we can do like some kind of card? Yeah. Yeah, QR code to somewhere to, but yeah, that's a Troutman and technology connection there. I mean, even at the pool, although that's, you know, people have been asked to pay money orders when, you know, it's what, $5 to come into the pool, I think is the fee. Really sounds a little ridiculous these days, but we have to figure out how to manage cash too, so somebody doesn't walk off with the box. I think we're done. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Councilman, you have to second. No, he did it. Way to go. All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Council Lady. Thank you, Council.
Councilman, talk to you later.
All right, Ms. Neal, thank you. Can you have